Hey everyone, Rho here. Today we discuss the respect of the Catachans. Spoiler warning to begin, as the events we're discussing today are from the Warhammer 40k novel, Catachan Devil, by author Justin Woolley. As always, I really recommend you read the stories for yourself first, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself, without spoilers. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. The legendary reputation of Catachan spreads far and wide, the hardships of the Death World producing one of the Imperium's toughest regiments, if not the toughest. The Jungle Fighters are legend, plain and simple. The name is valued and respected across the Imperium. And of course, respect is a two-way street, the Catachans returning that respect in equal measure. Okay, maybe not. For the most part, the Catachans view the rest of the Militarum as little more than a waste of space, and that goes double for those in command. But is this something done out of arrogance or spite? Or is it more a matter of respect is earned and not given? Now, thanks to the novel Catachan Devil, we actually managed to get a good insight into not only how the Catachans are perceived by their fellow Militarum, but also how they view them in turn. On the world of Gondwa 6, the Imperial Guard is locked in a war against the Greenskin menace, and slowly but surely they are losing ground. Reinforcements come in the form of the Catachan 57th, led by a Colonel Aldalon, a typically no-nonsense Catachan. And even from their very arrival, we're witness to the almost reverence that the Catachans are held in, as Aldalon heads through the guard towards the command HQ. They looked up at him as he passed, hastily stiffening in respect for not only his rank, but also the red bandana he wore tied around his honestly ridiculously large bicep. The Catachan Jungle Fighters were legendary amongst the Astra Militarum. In stories told to children, they were almost as lauded as the Adeptus Astartes themselves. In a lot of ways, maybe even more so, because the men and women of Catachan were just that. Men and women. Everything they did, every storied battle they won, they did without all the advantages of the Emperor's Space Marines. As I've often said, the Imperial Guard are in many ways the true heroes of the Imperium, for they have none of the Emperor's blessings the Adeptus Astartes benefit from. The Guard are not genetically enhanced. They aren't lucky enough to know no fear. They are the ordinary men and women of the Imperium, many given no choice on whether to serve or not, drafted into service, given a lasgun, a few weeks basic training, before shipped off to the nearest war zone, expected to face threats such as the Tyranids or Chaos. And yet here is a regiment, larger than life in many ways, one who faces those same hardships, same realities as any guardsman, yet conquers all of it. And that mention of stories being told to children. The Astartes are mentioned as that mythical defender, the Emperor's avenging angels, so often spoken of yet never seen, like a dream to cling on to, like a prayer. Yet the Catachans, they are the reality. They are the dream to aspire to, the one of flesh and blood. The people you see who face all the trials you do, yet they overcome it. The Catachans aren't Astartes you place your hope in. They are what give you hope. To the Guard, they make you stand that little straighter, feel that little stronger, and be that little braver. For all the inspiration the Catachans represent and inspire, however, well, for the most part it's not returned. For the Catachans live a life of hardship and struggle for survival from the very beginning of their lives. Catachan's jungles are an infamously dangerous world, only the very strongest and bravest surviving to adulthood. And so it is the Catachans respect strength, be it mental or physical. Not the stripes on a uniform, and most definitely not the fanciness of a title. And there's a line that really describes how brutal this reality can be. In having to take along an outsider guardsman by the name of Torvin on their mission, the lone survivor of a fallen outpost that Aldalon seeks to recapture, we get his view as they stop for camp amid the dense jungle. His squad seamlessly going to work and dispersing amongst the foliage within seconds. However, Torvin not so much. Aldalon watched the Softwolder as the Catachans went to work. They'd left him alone. No one from Catachan had time for incompetence. Their world quenched them to be the hardest humans in the galaxy. They would not bother helping this fragile example of their species. It was not callousness, at least not deliberately. It was the way they had all been raised, as a necessity for survival. On Catachan, you did not associate with the weak, because the weak would get you killed. Every one of its inhabitants knew they had to rely on those around them to survive. It's undoubtable the Catachan manner can come off as arrogant, simply looking down on those weaker for just being weak. However, the truth is, as we see here, their entire existence is determined on being strong. Because if you're not, you simply don't survive. Catachan literally represents survival of the fittest. It's not about looking down on the weak, it's about living a life where the weak get you killed. For the Catachans to survive, they simply can't be weak. They don't have that luxury. And this passage really helps to show that, how black and white their existence is. In the grimdark of 40k, it's really the mantra of the universe, one that unfortunately many people don't realise until they're in the ranks of the Militarum. For all this disdain they may have for Softwolders as they call them, however, that's not to say the Catachan respect doesn't or can't get earned. The Catachan Jungle Fighters respect those of other famed regiments who have earned their reputations, worlds who have carved out a legacy amongst the Militarum. Those of Cadia, Krieg, those of Valhalla, those of Talan, and even those deemed Softwolders can prove their mettle. Throughout the course of Aldalon's mission, the maligned trooper Torvin who accompanies them manages to prove his worth. Not by being as skilled as the jungle fighters, for he's not. Not by being as strong as the jungle fighters, for he's not. He does so by simply standing with them. Whereas so many would flee in the face of close and personal combat against the greenskins, amid the dense foliage of the jungle, whereas so many would die within seconds, screaming for their lives, Torvin overcame his fear and stood tall, fighting side by side with Aldalon's squad. And through that effort, he was gifted one of their famous red bandanas, the symbol of the Jungle Fighters. So maybe that's the key to a Catachan's respect. It's not that you need to be the best. It's not that you need to be the toughest. It's that you simply need to fight. But as always everyone, what do you think? Do the Catachan Jungle Fighters deserve their reputation across the Militarum? Are they the toughest regiments out there? Or does that recognition deserve to go to another world? One such as Cadia. Are the Catachans right to look down on the soft-worlders as they call them? Or perhaps should they be more understanding of those simply drafted into the Militarum, who know nothing of fighting for survival? Like me, do you see the key to earning their respect? To simply be proving to them that you too will fight for survival, showing them the spirit that beats beneath? Or maybe do you see another meaning behind their respect once earned? As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below, I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too? With that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.